welcome to Fields of Faith, the podcast about the human side of ag. In agriculture, we talk about everything, fertilizer, weather, technology, but we never talk about the most important thing, the human side, and the everyday struggles we all go through. More important, how through faith we can overcome those struggles. In this podcast, we share real-life stories. My story and the stories of my guests, with two clear goals. The first one, to show you that you're not alone. No matter what is the circumstance, what is that worst case scenario, what is that problem you're going through, someone is probably going through it as well. And someone probably already went through it. By sharing these stories, we support each other. We show how in faith there is a way through. And the second one, to be more real. In an industry, in a world that is very transactional, when we open up, when we show up our weakness, when we share with each other what we struggle with, we create real connections. If we have higher yields, if we have a better ROI, if we do a big sale, great. If we support each other, if we're there for when someone is really struggling, if we grow in faith together, if we create real connections, that is God's harvest. That is the real yield. I hope you enjoy the podcast. From the moment the idea of creating this podcast started, there was only one thing that was very clear to me. Who was going to be my first guest? And that person is Chris Wiley, who we have the honor and the privilege of having here today as the first guest in Fields of Faith. Chris and I worked together many years ago in the ag industry, and since that day, I've had the privilege of calling him not just a friend, but a brother. Professionally, Chris has had an amazing career. Right now, he's the VP of sales for a value-added ag manufacturing company. Personally, he's the proud father to two incredible girls and the husband to an amazing wife. Chris' story exemplifies perfect what this podcast is about. Chris has dealt with what for all of us might seem like a worst-case scenario multiple times. And he has done it by holding to his faith. Chris has been diagnosed with cancer multiple times, stage 3 and stage 4, and he has faced that battle with gratitude, with a smile, and with faith. Not only dealing with that, he has also dealt with cancer being diagnosed to close members of his family. Independent if you have ever dealt with a very bad health diagnosis or not, his story is one that we can all learn something from. How to deal with things in the worst moments. How to handle that worst case scenario. How to not lose faith when everything seems to get dark. I hope that you can learn something from this conversation as much as I did. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. And without further delays, I leave you with my friend, Chris Wiley. Well, Chris, thank you for being here, Fields of Faith, and you're guest number one. You're going to be the OG here. And I'm very happy to be here with you. Fields of Faith, for kind of like, again, a little bit of background. It's a podcast related to ag, but I thought there were many podcasts in ag, Chris, that have everything about precision and fertility and all the things that we can talk about, pricing and weather. But the one thing that probably to me is the most important, or I've learned, and that we don't talk about, it's faith. And it's how in ag, all of us, we go through seasons like the crops, we go through different times, and how faith have carried a lot of us through. And when I thought about the podcast, and the first thing that came to my mind was you as the number one, as the OG, which my kids say it's for old guy, not for it's for old guy. So I just thought, I mean, one, I know your story, a little bit of it, but I just thought having you here and really sharing, because that's what this idea, this podcast is about, is sharing with others stories, real life stories, struggles, hard times that people in ag has lived. I don't care where they come from, what the background is, but really, and for me, the goal are two things. One, maybe help others out there that are going through similar things. and then learning something that can
Yeah.
help all of us. So for me,
Yeah.
it's a pleasure to have you here, buddy.
Oh, yeah, thank you, man.
I'm
Yeah,
really
man.
excited. I'm really excited want to have you, but for you and where things are. So
Yeah.
any words to say, Chris, before
Yeah,
I
I'll
jump
just
in?
start off by saying, hey, thanks for having me, man. And like you said, it's about faith, right? And I'm truly blessed. I wouldn't be here today if I wasn't blessed. I think that's the key to this. I appreciate you starting a podcast because I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that talk about farming and family, but then really faith, right? That's really what it's about at the end of the day. Life is so short, man. It goes by so quickly. And if it wasn't for faith, I wouldn't be here today. I'll just if you're okay with it, and I'll just share a little bit about my story.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Man, it really started for me. I was going through life and lived a pretty normal life, and was doing really good, and was had a really good job. Got married in 2008, and in 2008, just like that, the
Yeah,
world ended, right? The world ended when, Lehman's collapsed, the housing world stopped. I was working for a company called Louisiana Pacific. They made lumber. And Anyway, with the housing crash, they didn't need the lumber company anymore, and so I was laid off 3 months into my marriage. And the very next week, I got a mole looked at, and turned out to be cancer. So, I was 20. Here I am, 24 years old. I had the world in my hands. Had a nice house and nice cars. I got married. Life's good, and just like that, the world
every
ended,
ends.
and everything ended. So, I had to rely on faith. What was I going to do next? Right. I was a forestry major at the University of Georgia. Did not grow up in farming or ag. Didn't even really think about it, right? And then I was blessed. I was working at Chick-fil-A at nighttime, and then during the day I was Coach Rick's at the University of Georgia. Josh worked for him, and then Josh Brooks is the athletic director for Georgia now. But at the time, he was just the operations manager at Georgia, and I was his personal assistant, and I did whatever he had me to do. I was in charge of practice at the University of Georgia. At Georgia, football practice is closed to the public. And then there was this one guy trying to hop in, and I tried to kick him out, and because you weren't supposed to be there. And I was trying to kick him out, and he goes, "I'm here, I'm recruiting for the ag school." And I said, "Well, today's your lucky day because I'm not an ag major. I took one ag class. I'm a forestry major, and I got no job."
Yeah,
And so I brought him into practice. He watched practice, told him my story, and turns out he was the GM for Mycogen Seeds, or Triumph Seed at the time, Dow Chemical. And he goes, "Hey, you're a hard worker. What I can't teach is your positive attitude and your work ethic." And Anyway, I applied and got a job. My first job was in Lubbock, Texas, and
sheesh.
I told my wife, get ready. We're moving to Lubbock, Texas. And I told her mom that, and she started crying. She goes, "Don't
I
take
was
my
gonna say,
baby."
yeah, I'm sure she
She,
was excited about that move.
she,
Jesus.
let me tell you, people in the Southeast don't have a good sense of geography. Because when I told her mom that I was taking her away from and moving her to Texas, she goes, "Lubbock, Texas, you're moving my daughter to Mexico." I was like, "There's nowhere near Mexico." But to tell you how big Texas is, man, when we packed everything up, we drove from Athens, Georgia to Longview, Texas, and it was 10 hours. And we went through 4 or 5 states. And if we thought we'd wake up the next morning and drive a couple of hours to be in Lubbock, Texas. No, we drove 12 hours through the same state
Yeah,
and finally got to Lubbock, Texas.
indeed.
So
Uh,
it's a big state, man.
I'm based
But
here, and trust me, yeah, when they tell me I gotta go to Lubbock or anything over there, I'm like, I'm flying because that's a whole
yeah,
different. That's like going to a whole different country. But Chris, one thing I really like too about your story, and it's similar to me. I mean, I this is a podcast about faith, but it's not really tackled to any specific, I would say, denomination. This is I was
yep,
born raised Catholic, and I found.
yep,
I would say actually I found really my closeness in faith to God probably more than anything that in the past year. For you, I even love that initially you say the joke that you got into church kind of like it was a good way to meet some ladies and you actually ended up
yeah,
with your wife there.
yeah,
But when does your faith also like I mean, because you're talking about, yeah, everything's going well. And when everything's going well, you kind of like tend to cruise on it. But when things
absolutely.
went south, like How when was your faith kinda, like, ramping up, or when did you feel first like, "Hey, I need
Yeah.
God," or "Shish, I'm hitting bottom," or, like, when did you find or when did God find you? It's almost like that two-way road, like, when do you
You
feel
know,
that happened?
it was real interesting, right? It's all in like, everybody's born in different situations, right? You don't get to choose the family you're born into, right or wrong. Nothing. My parents are great, love them to death. I just didn't grow up in church.
Uh-huh.
And then we had a 12th man ministry, or the preacher of a church. His name is Chris Pritchett. He Pleasant Grove Baptist Church in Bowman, Georgia. And anyway, he would come and they would help out around the football team in high school, and they would do a devotion on Thursdays, and then they would hand out Gatorade and stuff like that on the sidelines on Friday nights, and then they would wash all the gear on Saturday. Friday nights after the football game, and have the jerseys ready to go the next day, so the coach didn't have to do any of that. But he invited a group of people to come play basketball, and and I was a sophomore in high school. And I said, okay, I'll go play basketball. I like sports, and I walked into this gym, and here's this pretty girl. She's my wife now, and she said, "Hey, I'm Lauren. How you doing? Blah blah blah." And I was like, man, and I got looking around, and I was like, there's nothing but females in church. I was like, I'm gonna get this church thing a go. It's bad. It's bad. When the first year I went just to date girls to
Hey,
church. But
God works in mysterious
you know,
ways, brother.
yeah, but that was it's funny and all, but uh, it was through that. It took a year, and God finally got a hold of me. I finally got saved. My junior year of high school, committed myself to the Lord. Now, I've veered off that path a billion times. Right, nothing's
Mhm.
been perfect. That's really when you talk about faith and finding the Lord, and really devoting myself to Christ. It was luckily it was in high school at a young age. And I tell you, I was blessed to do that because part of that 2008 story. Not only did I lose my job, very next week I found I had cancer.
Yeah,
So I've been dealing with melanoma stage 3 cancer since 2008. Then it came back in 2020.
yeah.
Matter of fact, we were working together.
Yeah,
We
we
were
were working
we
together,
were
yep.
working together, and it came back in 2020, and I almost died. And I was down in Tifton, Georgia. Matt Fryer, one of our
I
buddies,
remember
one of our
that one,
friends
yeah.
again, and almost bled out. I had a ulcer rupture in my colon, and anyway, I got down to very low levels of blood. I had to have 6 blood transfusions, and my cancer come back in my came back in my stomach, came back in my chest, came back in my bones, and I thought I was a goner. I thought this was it. I was preparing, you know, I had 2 young girls, and I thought, this is it. But I said, God, just bear with me. Get me out of this situation, right? Give me a story to tell people and encourage them, And that was the thing. It was like, trying to stay positive and have faith through all of that, because it's hard, right? It's never easy. Um, but when you have people, praying for you and always being there for you, that was really cool. Is that we actually shared our story through Facebook, and man, we had hundreds and thousands of people reach out, send us money, send us cards, send us notes of encouragement. We had thousands of people praying for. I truly believe all those people praying for us and encouraging us is what kind of got us through all that.
Well, one thing, Chris, and I don't know, I remember those days, and yeah, to me now I get more than ever before the power of prayer and kind of like what that really does. But and I think that's also part of why, for me, the idea of this podcast was important too, because I feel like what you did for me, what I try to do now is be you, be raw. I mean, struggle. I feel like in ag we portrayed sometimes this perfection of like everything is good, and we're so broken as humans, and we go through these hard times that being actually open about it. I mean, I've had those moments where I've shared some stuff that I've struggled with, and so many people actually reach out and pray with you. And then not just that, then like you said, everything has a bit of a purpose. Now, Chris, one that I want to ask you honestly, because I mean, I've always said it with my life and my example. Sometimes it's easy when you screw up. It's kind of like easy to feel like I deserve that. Like, oh yeah,
Yep.
I've been an idiot. I did this, but you
Yep.
said like you were doing like things were going well. You were doing right, and then
Yep.
and then shit hits the fan. Like here comes
Yeah,
round
life
2,
happens.
it
Yep.
spreads. How do you, I mean, did you get angry? Because I've had those where now I'm like, okay, I'm trying to do the right thing, and like, God, here I am. I'm stopping doing all the stupid things I was doing. I've stopped this, and come on, God. And I mean, there are those moments where you struggle with the
Oh,
faith. Like, did you have those where you're like, come on,
yeah.
like looking up and like,
100
come on, brother, like help me out.
100%. If I didn't, I'd be lying to you. But absolutely. You know what is it's funny, but me and my wife used to talk about it all the time, and we were like, man, here we are. We would look at people's life, and it's like, okay, God, we're following your will. You know, we're tithing, we're reading the Bible, we're in Bible study, we're doing all the quote unquote what we thought were right things. You look at people's lives, and you'd almost be jealous and envy, right?
Yeah,
You'd be like, "Man, I wish I had that. How did they have that?" And you thinking, "Man, there's no way they're living by faith, or they're living for you, God." And yet you're allowing them to have all this stuff, and here I am over here struggling. Yeah, we used to have those thoughts all the time. And it's just it makes you wonder, but it's at the end of the day, it's God's timing, right? It's
yeah,
like right before I got cancer, man, I was really had a see you were talking about seasons. I had a season in my life in 2008 where I was growing very close to God, but I was working so much. I said, God, hey, can you slow me down and let me
mm,
focus on you? I didn't say, hey, God, give me cancer and completely put me out of commission, right?
yeah,
But he used that. He has
yeah,
used cancer. He's used cancer to as my tool, as a way to relate to people, to help people, right? By looking at me, I think I'm a very sexy, healthy man, right? But
yeah,
I got stage 4 cancer, right? I take
yeah,
12 chemo pills a day. I go every 3 months and get PET scans and brain scans. But what I don't ever do is complain about it. I never talk about it. I never say, woe is me, right? Because I mean, at the end of the day, I tell my kids this all the time. You got choices to make, right? You can make the right choice. You can make the choice of being happy and positive and building somebody up, or you make the choice of being negative and
yeah.
discouraging and getting on that bandwagon and just building somebody down, right? And so you get to make choices every day, right? So I try to encourage my kids to make positive choices, to
Yeah.
if they see somebody and they're at school, and if they're sitting by themselves or they're getting picked on, how about you go
Yeah.
encourage that person, go sit beside them, go be their friend, right? Because you never know what they're dealing with, right? We're all dealing with something. You just never know what it is.
No, I really like what you were saying, man, about, I mean, the seasons too. For me, one of the hardest lessons I've learned, whether I deserved it or not, but I think it's, and I try to teach my kids that too. It's how to almost like pray and thank God when things are bad. Sheesh,
Yeah.
when they're easy, I mean, when they're good, it's easy. You're so
Yeah.
grateful. But it's like when that bad thing happens, when you lose your job, when you get that diagnoze, when, I mean, when people leaves your life, when you're grieving, it's just like sheesh, to be able to actually sit down and in almost in tears or etc. say, "Hey God, I don't know what the purpose of this is, but thank you." Sheesh, that, I mean, I've learned that lesson probably in the past year better than ever, and it's so hard. But to me, it's like, I mean, that's where I relate a little bit to what you were saying about those seasons. There, it's almost like he strips you of everything to teach you what
Yes.
that lesson of like, hey, this is
Yeah.
what you need. Like,
Eh,
stop looking
eh,
outside.
Yeah, and it's all like you said. It's just being real. One of my favorite Bible verses is Matthew 6:34. Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow has enough trouble of its own. You know,
Hmm.
today's trouble is enough for today, right? So I think about that all the time, right? Just take one day at a time, right? Be thankful, appreciative that you're alive and you can spend time with your family. You can do whatever, right? Be thankful for the day. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about what's going to happen in the future, right? Because
Yeah,
you know there's enough junk out there that we face with daily, hourly, minutely. That we just stop and be thankful in the moment, man.
absolutely.
Just be thankful that you're here.
One that is hard, Chris, and this one, I mean, I don't. This one you have, and I relate to it because I've known a lot of colleagues actually in the ag industry that have dealt with cancer themselves or relatives, and
Yeah.
I mean, spouses, fathers, etc., or kids, sons. Like how? how did you one thing is yourself. I feel like that's a thing, like how you navigate your faith, how you overcome, and you're a positive person, so it's kinda like it's always like that mojo, that mindset of like, "No, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be." But how do you work with, like, the girls and family and when they struggle and, like, same thing because they can struggle with their faith and everything, like, "Why
Yeah.
not taking and like, come on, God, like, my dad is taking a beating after a beating, like, come on, give him a break." Like, how do you work with even your wife, your family, as you are battling not just your faith internally, but helping
Yeah.
them out?
Yeah, I think that's really a great question, Evan. A prime example is my oldest daughter. I mean, she's right at getting ready to be 13 here in a few weeks. I mean, she knows, kids when you're young, right, they don't really know what's going on, right? But as they get older, they they know, right? And they can feel that there's something going on or something ain't right, and they listen to my conversation, my wife's conversation all the time. And I think that's been the hardest thing, is having an older daughter know what's going on, right? And so, she knows that her dad has cancer, and it's one of those deals where, for me, I live 3 months by 3 months. I mean, literally every 3 months I go and get a brain scan and PET scan, and then I sit there. I'm fine for 2 months and 3 weeks out of the year. I'm fine, and then that one week that I do my scans, me and my girls, we sit down and pray and say, God, please, let the next scan be positive, right? You want that positive scan so you can get another 3 months and another 3 months, right? And so, it's just being there for them. It's praying with them. It's trying to teach them right from wrong. Um, you want to leave. You want to leave, and that's the thing too. You want to leave a legacy. You want to uh, change the culture in the family, right? Uh, my family's my mom and dad were great. Love them to death. They're great people. But if I can change the culture and get my girls excited about going to church, and
Yeah.
get them involved in they like this week, like from Sunday to last night, they were in vacation Bible school, right?
Okay.
And they love going to church, And a matter of fact, sometimes I do work a lot, right, and travel a lot, and there's some Sundays where I'm like, I don't know if I want to get up and go to church.
Yeah.
And my girls are like, "Dad, we gotta go to church. Dad, we gotta go to church." And like, "Yeah, you're right. We gotta go to church."
Yeah.
So just it's neat to like instill in them the values and the core principles of faith, right?
Yeah.
And that's all I can do is live out and be a walking, living testimony to my girls, and have them say, okay, daddy's gonna be okay. Daddy's gonna be okay. And if the cancer comes back and takes them, then that's gonna be okay, right?
That's
Uh, so
that's
you
the
just
I mean, that's amazing. I mean, to me, just what you just said there, I mean, it's and I mean, sheesh, I think what you are expressing, and I think it's one of the biggest lessons as men probably we should try to do is it's be raw, even to your kid.
yeah,
That's what you're saying, because it's a reality.
yeah,
Like, it can come and it can
yeah,
happen, and not just for you. Like I can drive outside right now and get into a car accident or whatever.
yeah.
And I think that's one thing that I've also learned is, I mean, we were raised in a different era. Nothing against our parents. I mean, love
No,
mine
no,
to death.
yeah,
It was like that strong mentality of like, hey, your kids never even know what's going on. You just ramp through.
never.
It's gonna be fine.
Yeah,
It's it. Where I
yeah,
feel like part of being strong is being weak, and being weak,
yeah,
I'm like, hey, this is what can happen. This is what's going on. These are my rights, my wrongs, and like you said, then teach him. At least as my end too. I try to teach him just how to pray, how to stay close to,
yeah.
because at the end, hey, that's what's gonna hold him, and that's what you wish for.
Yeah, being I think that's you said it best too, being raw. So right or wrong, we tell our girls everything, right?
Yeah,
We're very transparent, we're very upfront. We don't hide anything, right? So we don't shield them. We don't want them to not know that I have stage 4 cancer. My wife just went through cancer in January. I mean, it's like, we could have shielded them and not told them, but man, they know the truth. They know everything that we do, everything that's going on in our lives, right?
yeah,
Um, And then it's raw emotion, right? So when they do go to church and they ask them what can they pray for, they're always praying for their mom and dad not to
Yeah.
get cancer, and then it's like, and that's times I'm like, maybe you shouldn't, but then I'm like, yeah, maybe you should because I mean it's what we're dealing with. It's what
It's
it's our stories,
it's
right?
a school too. Like I'll tell you on my end why I relate to it. I mean, as I was saying, this past year has been a lot of personal growth and changes, and part of that, sometimes I have horrible days where, yeah, I mean, kind of like a
Yeah.
depression type kicks in or like really bad day. And I talk to them. I'm like, you know what? I'm feeling down. I'm feeling kind of like depressed. And this is what I'm
Yeah.
gonna do. I'm gonna go for a run. We're gonna go to church and we're gonna go grab ice cream. And
Yep.
mine is more like I want them to have a school of like, okay, when I deal with that, if I got to deal with that, then I know kind of like the MO rather than I never knew how to
Yeah.
deal with a bad day or a bad diagnose or a very bad news. So I don't know. I think like not shielding your kids. I mean, there are things that you don't unload on them, everything. Like it's not like you pass but I do believe that just guiding them like it's a school. It's like you
Yeah.
said, if you can walk your girls through a rawness of like, "Hey, this is what's going on and this is how you can deal." On my end, same thing, use my experiences as, "Hey, guys, this is what's going on and this is how we can deal." And that's I don't know. I believe personally that's one thing that most guys we usually don't do. I used to never did. I mean, I didn't do it for
Yeah.
years. I shielded them, and to be honest, I took the opportunity for them to learn actually how to deal
Uh,
with bad stuff.
yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah. I mean, it is, you just, as you get older, right, you get more wisdom, right? You learn and, it's just growing up and you change, right? You're more fearless in your early years, right? Nothing can take you out, or you don't think you don't need faith or don't need anything, right? And then you just get wiser, and especially I think when you have kids and man having girls, it changes you. I mean, I work hard and I bust my butt. I try to do the right thing, and it's for my family, right?
Yeah.
It's for those girls, I want to make sure that they have a better life than what I had, right? And that's what my mom and dad
Yep.
did. They worked hard and they provided a great life for me. And I'm just trying to provide a great life for them, and then teach them faith along the way, right? And
Yeah.
I think you're just a walking billboard, right? I mean, it's funny. I have this discussion all the time with people. What is church, right? What is church? Define church for me. And you get all kind of answers. And to me, church is just what we're doing now.
Yep.
Being around people, encouraging one another, being positive, sharing the word.
Yep.
Walking the word, walking daily for God. To me, that's church. I don't have to
No,
go to a building, right? To
speaking
have church.
exactly, speaking to one another, sharing the I mean, I will say the same thing. I went to church every Sunday for many, many years. And I mean, not to say that I don't do it, I still
No.
do it and I love it, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like I have a guys group that meets here every Sunday. And we are as raw as it I call it the Vegas of Texas because it's really what's fast and it's done here, stayed here. Because
Yeah.
really it's a place to be weak, and that's church. Like that is
Yeah.
I mean, we pray for each other, we share our struggles, the stupidity someone did, or like, hey, this happened this week. And that's church. I believe that when you
Yeah.
own and you were talking about it with your girls, but also with your wife. I think one thing that, especially in this ag world, relating back to it, I feel like a lot of it, it's like this front. I mean, we
Yep.
will try to, I don't know, somehow have this front of like great professionals that live perfect lives, and my God, everybody's so broken behind or going through so much stuff.
Oh,
And the more you actually embrace and actually like own your dark side or your struggles or the again anything, it could be health on my end. I mean, I've all the stupidities I've done in the past, my struggles, my etc. Then actually it allows people to almost like relate to you and come towards
yeah.
you and be like, "Hey, man," and like, "Can I talk about it?" Like, I've had more people reaching out to me after I almost like have been more open about my struggles with everything, lost and this and the other, where I have guys actually like, "Hey, Edwin, can I talk to you about it?" And I just think we gotta be I have so much more respect for people like you and others that are just open humans with their struggles, with their things, and I
Yeah.
try to be a little bit more like that. I used to live 2 lives, like the professional Edwin, very amazing, very great at it, and then the guy behind doors was a mess in his
Yeah.
head and everything. So I just
Yeah.
I believe that owning that reality and the ugliness of it just makes us even more relatable. I mean, have you felt
Yeah.
like that too?
Yeah, just like you said, yeah, just own it, and it is so interesting. I'd say it's like that. Everybody, I would say I'd be willing to take a shot to say that everybody in the ag industry, we all put on professional faces, right? But at
Yeah.
the same time, we're all dealing with something. I don't care, if it's maybe it is cancer like I have, right? Maybe it's divorce, maybe it's your loss of a loved one, right? If you live long enough, something's going to happen to you, you
Yep.
know. So it's in how you deal with it, though, right? It all goes back to why you started this podcast. It's faith, right? It all goes back to seasons in life, but it's having that sturdy faith and being able to keep going even when times get hard and times get tough. And
We were just talking about how, I mean, when you own your past, when you own whatever you're dealing with, as you were saying, it could be cancer in the family or yourself,
yeah,
depression,
whatever.
addictions, etc. And it's an industry so full of also excesses. I mean, we know how
Yeah,
it's like. To me, it's
yeah,
funny because I mean now I've been sober for a good while too, and it's like the other side that I think I want to bring, and maybe you can express on it too a little bit or elaborate, but I think sometimes faith is seen as, oh, like, a little bit more of a, "Oh, you're speaking from above," of like, "I can
yeah.
that." I'm speaking from way down, like, I'm
Wait,
speaking from like, "Hey, this comes from the guy that did it all wrong and is just trying to get back up."
yeah,
That's where I feel like sometimes people also has a bit of a, I don't know, anti-faith, sometimes, like, a little
yeah.
antipathy because and I agree, sometimes people come from above, like, "Oh, you're doing wrong, I'm doing right." For me, faith has been more like the lifesaver when everything went south and what has kept me afloat. And if anything, that
Yep.
allowed me to come back. Like how, when you talk to others too, because that can happen.
The,
How do you relate to that? How do you express to
it,
someone that maybe doesn't have a lot of faith?
a prime example is so there's to to me there's nothing wrong with drinking. Now I don't drink. It's a personal choice, right? And people all in the ag industry drink all the time, right? And that's fine. Doesn't bother me one bit. But I've had several people ask me, "Why don't you drink? What's wrong
Yeah.
with you?" And it's like, there's not nothing wrong with me. It's a choice, right? We all make choices in life. It's something that I choose not to do, right? Because I believe that nothing wrong with drinking, but if you get drunk, right, you're not in your right state of mind, and things can happen. So it's one of those things where I choose not to, but it's faith is faith truly is you know believing in something that you can't see, right?
Uh-huh.
Faith is to me, you know, giving my life daily to Christ, even if I mess up, because I'm going to mess up, and my girls see me mess up all the time,
Yeah.
and I have to apologize for messing up. I have to repent of my sin and say, God, I'm sorry, I messed up there. But it happens. I'm human. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. There was only one person that was perfect, man. And
Yeah. Well,
you
that,
know, we yeah.
no, that's the key one. I think that also owning your, I mean, your internal fights. Like I'm one. I get it. I mean, I can get angry, and I gotta say same thing, say sorry to the kiddos and
Yeah.
everything. But it goes back to, I think, part of the message that I really want with this one is like you said, it being real in the ag industry. It's a hard thing in every industry. It's not just the ag. Let's just not say
Yeah.
it's the ag.
Uh,
But it's this front almost of perfection, and God forbid someone sees you for your flaws. Now, I mean, I'm not to say that I'm proud of my errors or my whatever I did wrong in the past, but it's like I love a quote that says, "You can't change your past, but you can change your story." And that's the thing, is like that
100%.
then you can be a testimony, then you can say to others, "Hey, even if I can do it, you can do it." Hey, or like you
Yeah.
can be a testimony of like, "Listen, and I called you a Terminator. If I've gone through how many rounds of this stupid cancer battling it and
Yeah.
beating it, hey, just keep grinding at it." I
Just
feel like
keep
that
yeah.
testimony is the key there.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta keep on going, but, I really did, you did say it best. I mean, you gotta keep fighting. You gotta keep fighting the good fight, 'cause I promise you, uh the devil's gonna come at you daily. I
Yeah,
promise you that when you think something's, for instance, yeah, I started a new job a month ago. Things are going great and I'm loving it. I'm traveling a lot. Well, heck, I'm traveling, and while I'm traveling, my yesterday I'm coming home from work, and a deer smashes
yeah,
my wife's car, right? Runs slap into it, tears the side mirror off of it, dents it all to pieces, you know, and I could say, "Man, what are you doing? Are you not looking at that dang deer?" But it's like, no, you gotta think about it. You gotta say, "No, God, thank you for protecting me." Because
yeah,
matter of fact, my wife was carrying my two girls and their two friends to Bible school for the last night.
yeah,
And a deer runs out, almost tows a car. They have all this damage, and it's very easy to get down and frustrated and say, "Man, got all these issues and all these problems." But we were blessed. Luckily my
yeah,
parents lived close. My dad came and checked on my wife. She was fine. All was good. He carries the girls to church. All was great, right? So I think you got to look at the positive, right? Because those negatives are going to come every
everywhere,
day,
everywhere.
from everywhere, right? There's always going to be a roadblock, whether it's a bill that comes out of nowhere and says, "Man, I got forgot I had that one due," so,
There's the curveball
or
always.
a curveball. Yeah, it's always like a baseball analogy. I know me and Edwin are big Braves fans, right?
Go Braves,
And
yeah.
go Braves. Hey, prime example. They started out hot, right? They started out doing amazing, best record in baseball. Thought, man, they're never going to slow down, and now they're in a funk. They're in this
Yeah.
weird. They can't even win a baseball game. So, yeah, there's curveballs being thrown at you daily, and you just you got to keep pushing through, man.
I mean, in all this process, I really got into like running and kind of like endurance sports. And I love analogies with sports because I mean, it's like that too. It's like running for me. It's like you don't realize,
Yeah,
but it's like, hey, faith is the same way. If you just keep doing it, training it, sometimes you gotta force it. Sometimes you don't feel like you said, sometimes
yeah,
you hate it. Sometimes you're angry. Sometimes you're like, I'm
yeah.
tired.
Look,
Then it grows kind of like a callus. It really grows there. Now, Chris, one question I have, because and this is a personal one that I want for someone. I mean, I'm a lucky guy in many ways. Like I've dealt with my struggles, as I said, especially probably in recent years. I'm very well deserved, but I'm like health wise, I've always been very healthy. What's
yep.
your message to someone that it's healthy, like me or like average Joe in the ag industry, someone that it's out there enjoying their time and again doing whatever they're doing. From someone like you that has gone through what you're going, like what would be a one thing that you've learned that you would tell someone that is 100% healthy right now? What would be a message you would give them?
Oof. Uh, don't take it for granted, man. I would tell you to stay healthy. It's a lot harder to try and get fit and try to get healthy. Than it is to not to. I would tell you, you're talking about running. Running is your kind of outlet. Mine's walking, dude. I walk.
Yeah,
I try to walk a mile. I try to walk a mile a day. Whether I was in Omaha, Nebraska a few weeks ago. I walked a mile. Right. No matter where I'm at, I try to walk daily. And that's just part of being in faith. There's something about just whether it's running, walking, swimming, cycling.
yeah,
Be active. Right. Get out there. There's something about getting out in nature and just being marveling at what God's created, and that's why
yeah,
I like walking. I usually walk. It's so hot down here in the South. I always walk late at night, and then it's usually
yeah,
late at night when the sun's setting and it's just all these beautiful colors that God's painted in the sky. And I'm just reminded daily, like, God, wow,
yeah,
your creation is so beautiful, and I would say, don't take every day as a blessing. man, because just like I said, like that, it changes, right? You can get cancer and tomorrow, and you're on the road, and it's not an easy road. I mean, everything. If you see my again, like Edwin was saying earlier, everything looks great on the outside. People look at me all the time and say, "Man, you look very healthy." And especially here lately, I've been walking a lot, been lifting weights. I'm as healthy as I've ever been. But deep on the inside, I'm eat up with cancer, missing my large intestines. I don't have it, don't have half a calf, I don't have any lymph nodes in my body, so, my body's beat up, you know,
Yeah.
and, and then I long for the day that God calls me home, man, and I'm in a brand new body. So,
Yeah, yeah. No, hey, thank you for that one, man. I agree. I mean, for me, as I said, running was kind of like my healthy coping. That before I used to have very dumb coping mechanisms. Now
yeah,
it's like, hey, and like you said, there are actually studies that say that going out there and kind of like have outdoors, anything, the sky or anything. I mean, I do agree. Like when I run, I put a good podcast or prayers or
yeah,
Joel Osteen, whoever. I'm like, I'm gonna listen to someone here. And I agree. It's just a way to disconnect. And I think in general, ag industry, and this is not to blame, it's just the reality. It's a very unhealthy industry, not just for farmers. I mean, we've talked that farmers have some of the highest suicidal rates, some of
oh,
the worst health on earth. Well, the ag industry is just a follow-up from farmers. I mean, everybody in the industry, yeah, it's not the healthiest MO around there. And it's just a sad reality we face with.
I know several farmers that have taken their lives. I personally know I was real close to a retailer. Let's see, 3 years ago, I was with a retailer in the office selling them product, laughing, cutting up with them. Matter of fact, the month before, had gone golfing with them. Did not know anything on the inside was going on. And then boom, I was with him 2 weeks, and then boom,
Yeah.
he committed suicide. And so it was like, man, you wish he would have opened up. You wish you would have shared. You wish you would have known. Maybe you could have prayed for him. Maybe you could have,
Uh,
witnessed to him. Maybe you could have shared some positivity in life. But you don't know, right? You have no idea. That's like you said, Evan. We're all walking around with this false mask or this false sense of everything's perfect, right?
yeah.
Because what you see on the outside, but we're like onions, right? You start peeling those layers,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, there's something else deeper going on, right? And we're all dealing with something. And if you aren't, you're lying, you
Yeah,
know.
no, I agree. I agree. Well,
And
I've had those too. I know actually people that committed suicide that were on the retail sales side, kind of like same that we've been.
yeah,
And I mean, it was a guy that it was probably like talking to you and I. He was fine or on the front. The
yeah,
next day he was gone, and it's very sad. And everybody that knew him and a lot of people that knew him, I
yeah.
relate to it. We were like, I mean, he didn't talk to anybody, but it's also I feel like it's that front. And if we could just save one person from just like, hey,
One
like
person.
I said, the good thing about being open is how it's like a magnet. I've had more
Yeah.
people approach me after I'm honest about my struggles. You can be honest about your struggles, and that's what this podcast is about. That I believe if others can just approach and say like, "Hey, man, I'm struggling too. I'm depressed. I'm
Yeah.
going through cancer. I'm going through divorce. I'm going through. I did this stupid stuff. I'm going through addictions. I'm going through." Whatever. That is where to me, I mean, that's more important than selling the largest amount of fertilizer or inputs we
Oh, uh,
that's
abs- absolutely. It's human nature to want to win and be successful. But what encourages me more is texting Edwin and saying,
yeah,
"Hey, man, praying for you, man. Hope you, I
yeah,
hope, I hope,
yeah,
I hope, I hope things are going good." That I get more gratification out of being doing God's will in a sense, or just being there for somebody, cheering on somebody, encouraging somebody, lifting someone up, man. Because I mean, it goes by quick, man.
that's great. Now, one, Chris, and this one, I was just thinking about it. Healthcare and ag, you've
Yeah,
dealt with this, both good and bad. What would
yeah,
be a very, and I know we probably have a lot to say about the topic, but I know, I mean, we all either struggle or someone in our family struggles or we can't struggle. Like we were just saying, like, hey, it could be.
yeah,
What's your take of healthcare and ag, real quick? What would you tell companies that might listen this or whoever in HR is in charge of healthcare? And what's your state of the union real quick of like, hey, you because you've been with several companies of
yep,
all sizes, from
yep,
startups to corporate.
yep.
What's your message in healthcare and ag, and what would be again both for people, average Joe, and then maybe even for companies out there?
Yeah, I mean, you 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 gotta have it, right? It's very important. I mean, now there's so many different I will tell you this, look for a company that has cancer insurance, which seems small. I mean, now, for instance, my wife who got diagnosed with cancer, back at the end of last year, I actually encouraged her to go get cancer insurance. She's like, I'm healthy as an ox. Why do I need
Uh,
cancer insurance? I was like,
you don't know.
like, you never know, right? And that's because she works for the school system locally, and they offered it, and I said, you should get it, you know. And anyway, she got it, and look, does it pay for everything? No, but what did it do? It allowed for if she didn't have it, we wouldn't have been able to pay for a lot of her treatments.
Yeah.
So she had it. We used it and allowed us to pay on a lot of her stuff because she had it at the end of last year, and then she had to start in January. She had surgery, right? And so that allowed us to pay for her surgery that we didn't even know about. So, yeah, I would tell them, just uh, insurance, you gotta have it. For me, it's tough, right? Because I have to make sure that my employer has good insurance because I do. I have stage 4 cancer, and I take 12 chemo pills every day.
Yeah.
My chemo meds is 40 grand a month, and I don't have 40 grand a month to pay for it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I have to rely on insurance. It's we live in a very cruel world. Insurance companies look for every angle and opportunity not to pay you or not to cover your
Yeah.
your needs. I would tell you, you got to be an advocate for yourself. You have to, and I've been doing that since 2008 when I first got cancer. I had to literally fight for all my treatments, fight for all my chemo pills, fight for all my surgeries because they don't want to pay for any of it.
Yeah.
Insurance companies don't want to pay for it. So if you don't stand up for yourself, they'll run all over you, and you
Oh,
won't get treatment.
that's I think that's another side that, and we'll share your LinkedIn account and info here. But I mean, for someone that is just dealing with that kind of stuff, hey, sometimes they just got to ask to someone that has dealt through it because
Yeah,
the thing you don't know what you don't know until you face it. And I mean, that's part of the blessings. Looking at the blessings in something negative, you can help others
yeah,
navigating those kind of scenarios, which are yeah are horrible. But no, I just know that. I mean, for me, usually I just said I've been lucky to be blessed, very healthy physically at least. I mean, in a lot of ways. And for me, it's always check the box. Like, I'll get the cheapest one. I don't think
yeah,
about it. But then it's like when for someone like you, and when you think about it, it's like, yeah, how important it is. And I know some people, it's a decision between a company and another one. It's like, hey, I
oh
just
yeah,
can't go there. So it is.
yeah.
It's a big
It's
one.
a real thing. Yep, it's a real
Yeah.
thing.
Chris, one more to kind of like then start wrapping things up. I
Yep,
laugh because I you and I share one thing that I think in the ag industry, talking about perfection, and I actually
yep,
I admire you for this one, but it's like here I'm a guy born and raised in Costa Rica in the tropics. I come with an accent. I speak multiple languages, so the accent is just a mix of everything. You are again a kid that was raised humble beginnings that also stutter along the
stutter, dude. Oh yeah,
and
man.
then same thing. You and I, we both actually been each other on some of our presentations in front of audiences, sales,
Yeah,
trainings, etc. Like I think one thing that I want to share there, it's same thing. Like there's this kind of like front of perfection, and you and
yeah,
I are. This is like putting Speedy Gonzalez and Porky Pig together, like a stutter and
yeah.
a super fast guy. Like this is
One
like
hundred
you're putting.
percent.
But yeah, it's like what's your take on having something like that that for most of the time for a lot of people would be like a oh I can't, I'm not gonna get up there, I'm not gonna speak to people, or and I'm sure you probably went through hard times. I went through hard times. I mean, my kids make
Yeah.
fun of my accent still.
Oh,
So it's like how is it for you, and how did you overcome that in an ag industry where I mean I've seen
my,
you have a high role, you just go out there and kill it.
my us overcoming fear, right? It's owning that fear that holds you back, right? So I start every meeting. Look, I'm fat, I'm redheaded, and I stutter. So let's get it out of the way. All
Yeah.
right. Just go ahead. So I'm all about let's go ahead and face that fear, face that whatever challenge that you have in life. Go ahead and nip in the butt. It's like sales, right? So, in sales, there's always somebody when you're driving, you're thinking of, you're thinking of Johnson, thinking of Johnson. I need to call Johnson, he's and you haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Just do
Just
it.
do it. Yeah.
Just make the phone call, make the email, write the text, just do it, right? And I think that's the biggest thing I had to overcome, my, 18 years in the ag industry. I really have had to uh, overcome a lot of the fear, right? It's coming out of, I don't know if it's say coming out of your shell or just being like you. I think I'm gonna say it best, like you said it, to start the podcast. Just be you,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Just be you. If you stutter, own it. If
Yeah.
you
Go
if you
for it.
speak three different languages and you sound crazy, own it,
Go
right?
for it. Yeah.
It doesn't matter, man. God created you in a certain way, and that's how he created you. And
It's what
you
makes you different. It's
got
what makes you
what
unique.
makes you
People, if anything, it's going to
exactly.
make you unique, and people are going to remember you for that. Oh, Chris, yeah, that guy
Uh,
that stars, he's amazing. It's like,
he's
yeah,
amazing. That's
they're like
right.
Edwin, that guy, yeah, he's good, like that. But it makes
It-
you unique. If not, you're just trying to be another one.
yeah, you're trying to be another one, right? Yeah, and just be you, right?
That's a big one. I think it's good for, especially if someone young is listening. I recommend
Yeah,
to like, hey, don't worry, don't try to be like someone. I mean, it's good to steal little things from people that you
yeah,
look up to, but that's
yeah.
different than you changing yourself to just be like this perfect image. Just be you and embrace
Be
it.
you,
And
man.
yeah, like
Embrace it.
it's
Yeah.
fun actually once you do it, and that's why I say like someone like you and someone like me.
Yeah. Now,
It's like,
how
hey,
long did it take you to embrace it? 'Cause it took me a
It
while.
it took me a long time, actually, I would say,
Yeah.
and then there were times where I would like you said, that fear would hit, and
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, like, sometimes it's like, "Oh, should I say this or did I say that wrong?" But
Yeah.
I think like you said too, like, I would always joke, especially when I was in the South giving training, sometime I would be like, "Listen, we're gonna do this slow because I speak fast and you yeah, and I speak with an accent, you guys speak Southern, and that's a whole different language for me. So let's just do this nice." And
Yeah.
we would laugh and we would just go from there. But I think it was probably once I was in my 30s where I felt very
Yeah.
comfortable and I was like, okay, good. But it took me a while. And then there's
Yeah.
also the times that you get someone making fun of things from a negative side that it's hard because you don't want to. I mean, you have your
Yeah.
human nature of getting angry or defensive, but then
Yeah.
that's where faith too comes in and you try to handle it the best way. And those are
Yeah.
the things.
Yeah, somebody once told me, in sales that, it's not people don't remember what you say, people remember how you make them feel,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And so, you know, uh, I've heard people tell me that best known beats best products. So, if you truly are comfortable and you're a likable person, I mean, sky's the limit, right?
Yeah.
Not nobody knows everything, but if you truly make people feel genuine around you and you make people feel, confident in themselves, I think you can go a long way in life.
Yeah. And be you, like you said. Oh,
Be
good.
you, man.
Well, I'm gonna wrap up kind of like I have some final questions that this is
Yeah.
I want you to just these are the tough ones, man. So these ones I'm gonna
Let's
have
go.
every guest that I have here, but to me are
All
really
right.
important. So let's go with it. But yeah, what when you deal right now with hard things, like right now, let's say you just said some of those, your wife with cancer, like that
Yeah.
diagnosis, etc. How do you face what are 2, 3 things that you do? Like, what is your, "Okay, this is," or, "This bad day just came," like, "Hey, I had the worst news." What are 2, 3 things that you plug in that
Yeah.
you can give to people? Like, what works for you?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing is prayer. No, honestly, you think, man, that's being just a given a very vague answer, but it's true though. I mean, if you slow things down and when things get bad, you can't change them, right? So, but what you can do is be positive about it. So, I'll stop, I'll pray. One thing that I've been challenged to do more of, especially as my wife's going through cancer, and I think, God, why me? Why my wife? My wife to watch both my girls. You know, both their parents have cancer. I mean, what's the odds, right? But I've been more challenged in this year in 2026 to get up early and read my Bible. That's something I've not always done. I've always wanted to do it, and I
Yeah.
just never, again, you make choices, right? I made the choice not to do it because I got so busy in
Yeah.
life, and waking up or not exercising. So I would say praying, being positive, and just go do something, whether it's a walk, a ride, uh, a podcast. Um,
Whatever. Yeah.
just
Connect.
go do something. Go get
Disconnect. Yeah. Go do something. Yeah.
disconnect, whether it's
Yeah.
fishing or hunting or whatever you like to
Yeah.
do. Reading, right? Everybody has their hobby
Do
or their or
something.
their their thing. Yeah. So, if I can read my Bible every morning and pray every morning, start the day off right, very positive. It if you can start the day off positive, you've already beat like 80
Oh, yeah.
80% of the day up already, right? You
Right.
didn't beat it up. You're
For sure.
positive. You're ready to go. So when negative things come at you and hit you, you're already facing those. And then it's at the end of the day, right? So at nighttime or in the afternoon, that's when I go for my walk and I relax and I reflect on the day, right? And I think, okay, this is what I could have done better in the day. This is what I need to work on, you know, and it allows me just to relax and get
Yeah.
get those thoughts out.
No, I
So
appreciate that one, man. Now, when you were at your worst moment, and it could be at any of the ones you've been, man, because you've been through
yeah,
several of those.
yeah.
What was one really good advice someone gave you? And what was one of the best gestures someone did for you? Like, what was something that really you were like, oh man, like that, I
So
felt that. And what was a great
I,
advice that someone gave you?
yeah, when we were in 2008, we didn't have nothing. No, we actually lost everything, lost our house, slowly lost everything. I was in the hospital, and I was just had gone through cancer surgeries. And you're talking about healthcare, and I just lost my job, so I had to keep Cobra. Cobra was $1,000 a month, and I was in hospital for 3 months, and then I did chemo every day for 8 hours a day, and so two things come to mind. One is God met every need. One of those 3 months in October, November, December 2008, Cobra was $1,000 a month. We had a random person come to my a hospital room,
Hospital, yeah.
and yeah, hand my wife a check for $1,000. Somebody we didn't even know. It gave us chills. I mean, it's like God showed up in a big way. He was saying, "Hey, God's real. I'm showing you that I'm real." So that was cool. And then after that, starting January 1 of 2009 to the end of January 31st, 2009, every day for 8 hours a day, I had to sit in a chair and do chemo. It's called alpha interferon. They don't even use it anymore. It's so bad on your body. But I had 4 aunts, and they all showed up. And every day they took turns taking me to
Ugh,
my chemo treatments, and they would take care of me, man. And that truly meant a lot, So, it was neat having God show up and giving me those checks, but it was neat having family come together, And then even like, you get busy in life and you don't see your family, but when something bad happens, it's neat to see family come together
yeah.
and rally around you and show up, right? I mean, even in when I was in a hospital in Tifton, the ag community showed up. I mean, I had all my retailers that I was friends with. They all brought me food and gifts and stuff, and it was like, wow, I mean, this is like family. That's
Yeah.
what the ag industry's been to me is family, right? And so
Yeah.
that was pretty neat. I hope
Good.
that answered your
Yeah,
answered
yeah,
your
yeah. No,
question.
that's a good one. Well, and it's for me also to think. I mean, sometimes you don't know how to help, so it gives a gift
Yeah,
too. It's like, hey, how to show
just
up for others. So that's
just
good.
show up. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
sometimes
If you
that's probably the most important one.
it,
Sometimes just show up.
and I'm guilty of that, but that's one thing I think we could do better as a society is just
Yeah,
show up when somebody's in need.
be there. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
then another one that I wanted to ask you is, and this is kind of like if you could be able like to time travel and you go to Chris when he was in that worst time, or when you were angry with God, or when you were like, this is it, I'm done, etc. What would you tell yourself at your worst moment if you were able to just go back and talk to you? What would you tell now after everything you've lived, everything you've learned at that worst moment when you were right there, like, F this? What would you tell that Chris?
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay, right? Don't don't worry. But what did I tell you? Matthew 6:34. Do not worry about tomorrow because it has enough trouble of its own. Worry about, just live in the moment. It's gonna be okay. Know that until God comes back, the sun's gonna shine tomorrow, right? So there's no need. worry and anxiety, and I watched even myself, family members, coworkers deal with anxiety and worry. It's a real thing, and don't. It's hard not to say don't worry, right? But that's what I would tell myself is don't worry. It's gonna be okay. Be positive, pray, and go. That's the biggest thing is people always call me Smiley Wire, right?
Yeah.
Another thing, right? Smiley Wire, but it's like you know you can choose to be negative, you can choose to be positive, one and
Yeah.
two,
Well,
right? So
especially in
choose,
the hard times, that's when it
yeah,
means the most. So I agree with that. Well, I know you've kind of like mentioned one a couple of times, but for me, this is kind of like how I like to. I want to wrap it up. For me, I'll mention every time the passage that has carried me through my hardest and worst times. It's actually 1 Corinthians 13:13. Faith, hope,
yeah,
love, and love is the most important one. Like I try to live my life with love. That doesn't mean that I'm perfect. I mean, I still struggle. I still deal with
yeah,
my demons and try to fight them on
yeah.
a regular basis. But I know you brought one a couple times. But what is one verse that has been like your flag? What is that one that you would just put out there and be like, hey, this is has been like my shield, my flagship. This is what has carried me through.
Um, I would say, mine actually is one that I actually like to share with people. And it's Romans 10:13, for whosoever calls upon the name of the Lord shall be saved, right? And that's a verse that I have. I put that verse all over my social
Sure.
media. It just simply says that, we're all a whosoever. Anybody that literally calls upon the name of the Lord, God will forgive you your sins and he will save you, right? Save you from eternity, save you from hell. It's it's crazy to think that uh, when you die, you know, there's only two places you can go: heaven or hell. And it's like, why would you want to choose hell when you know God can save you now and you can live with Him until He returns or till you die? And I think about that all the time. How do people live like that, and how do people live knowing that they're sinning? And there's some that don't even know that I mean, they know they're sinning, but maybe they haven't heard the gospel, or maybe they haven't seen somebody be Christ like in their lives, right? I
Uh,
mean, there are some people that are just in bad places, and that's why there's people like me and you who need to lift them up and
No, I
encourage
agree.
them, and so that's where, I just love that verse, man. Just because it's something that I think about all the time. That um, we're all a whosoever.
Yeah.
We're all destined. We're all destined. We're all destined for hell. But all it takes is of truly having faith and
Yeah.
believing in God. No matter what denomination you are, right? I
Yeah.
almost hate denominations, right? But
Yeah.
you know, but don't matter what denomination you are. God loves you,
Amen to
and
that. Man.
and man, just give it to Him in your darkest hour. Give it to Him. He'll make you shine, make you bright, right? And so
Yeah, well, one thing that we talked about, and I mean, to me, what you just said was, I mean, it strikes because the more I've learned in my flaws, in my mistakes, in my errors, at my lowest, I mean, we're all human. We're flawed. The apostles were a bunch of messed up human beings. Like choose,
everybody,
and each one had it. And it's
yeah,
like you said, God has a purpose. Religion is not about perfection. I mean,
no,
and even once we baptize and everything, we're gonna screw up. We're gonna make mistakes. But it's kind of like
yeah,
failing forward, asking Him
yeah,
for that forgiveness, and try to make the right decision every time. So I think that's a great message too. Is like, hey, like who do you want to believe? Like what do you want to do? And it's easy,
yeah,
like you said, to live in anger, to live complaining every day, to live
yeah.
pointing the finger, like, ah, well, this is so unfair. I mean, you are a great example. How many, I mean, it's how many times you could complain? Well, God, come on, like give me a break, etc.
I know.
And to me, that message, especially coming from someone like you, for everybody out there, of like, hey, be positive, even when shit
Yeah, man.
fan, and it will hit the fan, like
It will all
whether
the
we like
time.
it or not, it will hit the fan.
It's coming.
It's coming one way or the other.
Uh,
It's a test. It's almost like that's
it's
what
a
God
test.
takes, takes on
Yeah,
like a whole different level. So no, I
yeah,
appreciate it, man. Any
yeah. I
final words on
appreciate you.
that you want to share with whoever, with all the ones listening?
No, man, just tell you guys, thank you for listening. I would tell you, just keep being positive, smile, and just be thankful that you got the day. So,
Indeed. Amen. No, and for my end, same thing to everybody. Thank you for listening to the first one. Hopefully,
yep,
many. Again, this is about real stories, real human beings, and we just gotta be more real in the ag world, man. And if
yep,
if the ones here can be people that you approach and say, "Hey, Chris, you know what? I heard a podcast and I'm struggling and I can this," or "Hey, Edwin,
yeah,
I heard that." That's where that's
that's
that's God's work. That's what we need to
yep.
do. All of us just support
uh,
each other.
uh,
So
And I would tell you, I would leave you with this: is that it's true in life, and it's true in sales, and it's true in business, and true in everything we do. That your network is your net worth,
yeah,
right? So it's truly is, always be networking with people. Uh, One, if maybe it's good for sales, but really it's good for your life to network with and be careful of that, right? You want to network with positive people, right? You don't,
yeah,
and there may be a situation where you want to cut the negative ones off, right?
yep.
If yeah, I've always heard too is, if you lay down with dogs, you come up with fleas, right? So show me your friends, show me your future, right? So just, I would, you always want to be around positive people.
Well,
So
positive attracts again. Positivity attracts other positivity as well. So that's where
yeah,
right, and I amen to what you just said, man. It's like it's all about that network and helping each other. And as I said,
yeah,
if this podcast helps just creating even a better network between the
yeah,
industry of like real people, of like, hey, there comes Edwin. That guy's flawed as hell, and there comes Chris. That guy's,
yeah. He's
and they're like, hey,
That
guess
guy's
what?
crazy, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and we're here to help you, and we're here to be
Yep,
and support each other, and
yep,
then be open. Like vulnerability is
yep,
important. Being weak is being strong, and we need
yep.
to be a little weaker sometimes in this ag industry to be stronger and to create
That's right.
better networks. Like you said, show up real. That is when people really connects with you, when you show up
Yep,
as the real you. So no, thank you, Chris, and again,
yep.
thanks
Appreciate it,
everybody,
everyone.
and God bless you
Yep,
all. Until next time.
yep. Appreciate it.
All right.